Empire on edge. Mysterious vessel cited, no records, no origin, and extremely fast. The vastness of space stretched endlessly, dark and silent, punctuated only by the distant glow of stars. Commander Selene Rios sat in the command chair aboard the Imperial Fleet flagship Aurora, her eyes scanning the holographic displays in front of her. The calm of routine patrols was shattered by a sudden alert from the outer sensors. "Commander," the young lieutenant said, voice tense, "we've detected something unusual. A vessel, faster than anything we've ever recorded. No origin, no registry, no signature we can identify." Selene leaned forward, her fingers brushing the smooth surface of the console. "Show me," she ordered. A projection flickered to life above the table. Tiny dots represented ships, planets, and stations. One dot moved differently. It didn't follow the usual orbital paths or predictable courses. It shot across space in sudden bursts, appearing and disappearing like a phantom. "Impossible," muttered the ship's chief engineer, Marek. "Even our fastest vessels can't reach those speeds. It's breaking every known law of propulsion." Selene studied the movement. Her heart raced with excitement and unease. Humanity had faced many challenges in the galaxy, but this was something entirely new. "Alert the fleet," she said calmly. "Prepare to intercept, but I want no reckless moves. We need to understand what we are dealing with before we act." The bridge fell silent, each officer aware of the weight of the situation. Outside, the stars seemed to hold their breath. Hours passed as the Aurora adjusted its course. The vessel remained elusive, appearing briefly in sensor range before vanishing again. Attempts to track it automatically failed. Every calculation, every predictive algorithm fell short. It was as if the ship moved according to its own rules, laughing at human technology. "Commander," said Marek, frowning at the console, "I think it's testing us. Every time we think we can predict its path, it changes. We're reacting, not planning." Selene nodded, understanding the deeper implication. "Then we need to think like it, not with machines, with minds. Humans have something no computer does, intuition." She turned to her tactical officer, Lieutenant Aaron. "I want a simulation using pattern recognition based on instinct, not data alone. Start plotting probable locations manually." Aaron hesitated, then began scribbling calculations on a tablet, occasionally tapping into the ship's mainframe for reference. Selene watched, a mixture of pride and anxiety filling her chest. Humanity was about to face a challenge that could define its place in the galaxy. Suddenly, the vessel appeared directly ahead, as if it had waited for them to take notice. Its shape was unlike anything humans had seen, sleek, reflective, and impossibly smooth. No visible engines, no wings, no weapon systems. It moved with grace, almost as if it were alive. "Impossible," whispered Marek. "How is it even here? We didn't see it coming." The vessel paused in the void, hovering briefly. A strange energy field pulsed around it, sending ripples through the Aurora's sensors. It wasn't hostile, at least not yet, but its presence was unsettling. Selene took a deep breath. "Open a channel," she ordered. Her voice was steady, but inside, her pulse raced. The possibility of first contact with an unknown civilization both terrified and thrilled her. The communication interface whirred. Signals appeared, but no recognizable language emerged. The patterns were complex yet deliberate. They were not random noise. "It's communicating," Marek said, "but not in any form we know. Maybe mathematical patterns." Selene studied the readout, eyes narrowing. "Mathematics is universal. If we can decode the pattern, maybe we can understand its intentions." She turned to the linguistics officer, Dr. Lyra Voss. "You take point. Start translating any repeated sequences. We need a message, anything." Dr. Voss nodded, already immersed in the symbols. Hours stretched into tension-filled minutes as the team worked feverishly. Outside, the mysterious vessel continued its graceful dance, unbothered by the humans scrambling to make sense of it. Then, without warning, the vessel moved again. It vanished from their scanners and reappeared near the imperial capital planet of Urindor. Sensors confirmed it hadn't traveled conventionally, it had simply appeared. Selene slammed her fist on the console. It's on the capital's doorstep. Alert the planetary defense systems. All ships mobilize, but proceed cautiously. We still don't know what it wants. Back on Urindor, the capital city's towers gleamed in the light of a nearby sun. Civilians went about their daily lives, unaware of the silent threat above. Then a strange flash illuminated the sky. A beam of light, pulsing rhythmically, descended from orbit. The Imperial Council convened immediately. Counselor Draven spoke, his voice tight with concern. "Commander Rios, what is it? Is it an attack?" "Not yet," Selene replied. "But it's sending something, a beacon perhaps. We need to understand it before we assume the worst." The council debated. Some wanted to fire immediately, to destroy the unknown before it could act. Others argued for caution, pointing out that human history had shown rash actions often led to disaster. Selene's voice carried weight. "We've faced alien threats before and survived. But this is unlike anything we've seen. Let's not respond with fear. Let's respond with intelligence." The beacon touched down in the outskirts of the capital. It was small, metallic, yet not threatening. Pulses of light spread across its surface, seemingly analyzing its surroundings. Military units approached cautiously, keeping their weapons ready, yet the object emitted no aggression. Dr. Voss worked to decipher its signals from the planet's central lab. "Commander," she said, "it's a message. Not in words, but in energy pulses. It's asking for attention. Curiosity, observation, it's studying us." Selene frowned, sensing the subtle challenge. "Studying us? Then it's testing our responses. Every move we make is part of what it wants to see." The human mind had always excelled at adapting to new challenges. Unlike machines, humans could improvise, interpret, and innovate. Selene realized that the encounter wasn't just about speed or technology. It was about intelligence, creativity, and courage. Outside, the mysterious vessel remained in orbit, distant yet present, a silent observer. It was not only fast but clever, interacting with humanity in ways that forced humans to rise to the occasion. By nightfall, the first breakthrough occurred. Dr. Voss identified repeating sequences in the beacon's pulses, a simple pattern of prime numbers. "It's basic at first," she said, "but it's deliberate. It wants to see if we recognize intelligence, if we can respond." Selene allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had done this before, in wars, in exploration, in science. When faced with the unknown, humans did not freeze. They adapted, they innovated. "Prepare a response," she ordered. "Send a sequence of prime numbers back. Show it we understand. Show it humanity." The message was transmitted. Moments later, the beacon pulsed back, acknowledging the reply. It was a small victory, but it mattered. The unknown vessel had engaged with humans, and humans had met the challenge not with fear, but with thought and courage. The fleet maintained a vigilant watch, while the capital prepared for any sudden developments. Selene stood on the observation deck, looking up at the sky. The stars seemed different now, as if they were watching humanity in return. Marek approached quietly. "Commander, it's remarkable. We've never seen a ship like that, moving that fast, interacting like that." "And yet somehow we're keeping up," Selene nodded. "Yes, humans always do. And this is just the beginning. Whatever this vessel is, it will push us further, but we will rise to meet it. We always do." As the night deepened over Urindor, the mysterious vessel hovered silently above. It had no weapons deployed, no aggressive movements, yet its presence alone caused a ripple of tension and awe across the Empire. It was a test, a challenge, and perhaps a promise of greater things to come. The unknown had arrived, but humanity was ready. The imperial capital, Urindor, was still buzzing with tension. Citizens went about their routines cautiously, many staring up at the night sky where the mysterious vessel hovered silently. The Empire's scientists, engineers, and linguists had been working around the clock, trying to understand the strange beacon left on the planet's surface. Commander Selene Rios stood in the command center, watching multiple holographic displays. Each screen showed the pulsing energy signals from the beacon, mathematical sequences, and strange patterns she could not yet fully comprehend. "Commander," said Dr. Lyra Voss, the lead linguist, her voice tight with focus, "I think we're beginning to understand something. The signals are structured, almost like a language, but not one we've ever seen. It's using energy pulses as communication. We can't translate words, but we can understand logic." Selene nodded. "Logic is universal. If it wants to communicate with us, we can respond. Show me what you've decoded so far." Dr. Voss projected a three-dimensional sequence of pulsing lights. They shifted rhythmically, each pulse representing a number, a direction, or perhaps a concept. "It begins simple, testing us. Prime numbers, basic patterns. But as we respond, the patterns become more complex. It's learning from our reactions." Marek, the chief engineer, leaned in. "Commander, this vessel isn't just fast. It's intelligent, adaptive. Every time we attempt to track it, it changes its course in ways that seem impossible. Its technology is beyond anything we know, but it's predictable if we think like it, not like a machine." Selene's eyes narrowed. "Then that's what we'll do. Humans don't just follow rules, we improvise. We adapt. That's our advantage." She turned to her tactical officer, Lieutenant Aaron. "I want simulations using creative thinking, not just AI predictions. Imagine how it would move if it were testing us. What would it do next?" Aaron nodded, quickly sketching probable paths. "It might return to the beacon, or it might continue testing our fleet. I can set up a network to predict multiple scenarios based on human reasoning." Hours passed as the team worked. The vessel's movements continued to defy conventional tracking, appearing briefly near the edges of space, then vanishing. Its speed was astonishing, yet the humans did not falter. With each sudden appearance, they refined their understanding, combining intuition with observation. Meanwhile, on Urandor, the beacon continued its rhythmic pulses. Scientists discovered that the pulses interacted with local electromagnetic fields in strange ways, creating faint but measurable distortions in the environment. Plants in nearby laboratories responded subtly, lights flickered in specific patterns, and even water molecules seemed to resonate. Dr. Voss studied the phenomenon. "It's observing everything, not just us. It's studying the planet, the people, even the smallest details. This is a test of understanding, not aggression." Selene felt a mixture of awe and determination. Humanity had faced threats before, but this was different. This was not war, it was a challenge, and humans thrived on challenges. As the night deepened, the vessel reappeared above the planet. Its shape shimmered in the darkness, reflecting starlight in impossible ways. The fleet was ready, but Selene chose caution. "Hold fire," she ordered. "We do not provoke. We observe, respond, and learn." The vessel remained still for a long moment, then a faint beam of light descended from it toward the beacon. The pulse sequences intensified, now forming patterns that resembled mathematical fractals. Each fractal seemed designed to test different aspects of human reasoning. Dr. Voss gasped. "It's complex logic puzzles, prime numbers, sequences, geometric progressions. It's testing if we can recognize intelligence and respond correctly." Selene's mind raced. "Then we must solve them. Every correct response shows it that humanity is capable, clever, and worthy of recognition." For hours, humans worked alongside machines. The Imperial fleet provided computational support, but the breakthroughs came from human intuition. Patterns that AI could not recognize were solved by reasoning, creativity, and insight. Suddenly, one of the fleet's analysts shouted, "Commander, The vessel is moving again. It's heading toward the outer colonies, toward civilian systems. Seleni's stomach tightened. It's testing more than just us. It wants to see how we respond when lives are at stake. She turned to the bridge crew. We protect our people first, deploy rescue and defense units to those colonies, but we do not attack the vessel. The Empire mobilized rapidly. Ships faster than any commercial transport raced to the colonies, evacuating civilians and setting up protective perimeters. Despite the urgency, Selene remained calm. She had learned long ago that fear led to mistakes. Precision and logic would win the day. Meanwhile, the vessel moved with astonishing speed. It appeared, then vanished, then reappeared in orbit around an outer colony. The suddenness of its appearances made it impossible for conventional tracking, yet humans adapted. Observers noticed subtle patterns in its movements, moments when it paused, slight arcs in its trajectory, a rhythm that suggested intent rather than randomness. Marek turned to Selene. If we anticipate its rhythm, we can prepare. It's still fast, but it's not unpredictable. Not entirely, Selene nodded. Exactly. Humanity's strength isn't raw speed or brute force. It's observation, adaptation, and courage. We respond to challenges, even ones beyond our understanding. At the colony, the beacon's energy pulses began interacting with the environment. Machines, communications arrays, and sensors all responded to the subtle signals. Humans realized that the vessel was monitoring not just their immediate responses, but how they coordinated as a species. It was testing cooperation, strategy, and problem-solving. Doctor. Voss turned to Selene. It's more than a test of intelligence, it's a test of character. How we act under pressure, how we protect others, how we think and adapt. That's what it values. Selene's gaze hardened. Then we show it humanity at its best. Not just cleverness, but courage, empathy, and unity. Over the next few days, humans worked tirelessly. Fleet ships set up observation points. Scientists deciphered increasingly complex sequences from the vessel, and engineers experimented with responses designed to prove ingenuity. The vessel, in turn, continued to challenge them, creating puzzles, moving at impossible speeds and observing from multiple angles at once. One evening, Selene watched the holographic displays in silence. "Marek," she said quietly, "do you realize what this means? This is not just a test. If we succeed, we prove something important not just to the vessel but to ourselves. We are capable of more than we think." Marek smiled, a rare moment of calm amidst chaos. "I know, and we're rising to it. Humans always do." Suddenly, the vessel performed an astonishing maneuver. It appeared simultaneously in 3 separate locations around the colony, each instance moving at impossible speed. The fleet was stunned, struggling to comprehend how a single object could exist in multiple places at once. "Impossible," muttered one officer. "It's violating physics." Selene shook her head. "Not violating it, exploiting it. Using principles we haven't yet understood. That's why we must rely on our minds, not just our sensors." The humans responded creatively. Observers suggested coordinated movements, using indirect prediction and anticipation rather than direct interception. The vessel seemed to respond almost with approval, slowing its movement and pulsing in rhythmic patterns that suggested recognition. Dr. Voss gasped. "It's acknowledging us, our predictions, our coordination. It knows we're adapting. It's impressed." Selene allowed herself a small smile. Humanity was proving itself not through force but through ingenuity, observation, and courage. The vessel's tests were difficult, but every challenge strengthened their understanding. Weeks passed. The vessel continued its interactions, moving between colonies and the capital, always testing, always observing. Humans learned to anticipate its actions, coordinate across fleets and planets, and solve puzzles that seemed impossible. The Empire was united, civilians inspired, and the fleet more disciplined than ever. Finally, a breakthrough occurred. "Doctor." Voss discovered that the beacon's pulses, when combined with specific planetary magnetic fields, formed a map, not of stars, but of information, patterns of energy, sequences, and logic that revealed the vessel's origin point. Selene studied the map. It's not just observing us. It's sharing knowledge. It wants us to learn, to prove we can comprehend, not just react. Marek added, and we've done it. Every puzzle, every response, it's all worked. We're keeping up, adapting, and understanding. Humanity is remarkable. Selene nodded. Yes. And soon we will meet it directly. But we must be ready, not just with technology, but with thought, courage, and unity. The next step will be critical. We cannot fail. As the vessel moved away from the colonies, a new pattern emerged. Its pulses now formed a clear signal, a message inviting direct engagement. It was subtle, respectful, and deliberate. The humans had passed the first stage of the test. The next challenge awaited, one that would require every ounce of human ingenuity and courage. Selene looked out at the stars, her heart steady. Humanity had faced the unknown and responded not with fear, but with intelligence and unity. The vessel had tested them and they had risen. The next step, she whispered, will define us. And above the distant planets, the mysterious vessel waited, observing, silent yet expectant. The stars above Erendor shone brilliantly, but the calm of the night was deceptive. The mysterious vessel, now clearly aware of humanity's abilities, lingered at the edge of the imperial system. Its energy pulses formed a steady rhythm, a signal that was unmistakable, an invitation. Commander Selene Rio stood on the observation deck of the Aurora, watching the dark silhouette of the vessel hovering silently in space. Her mind was focused, her body tense with anticipation. This was the moment she had been preparing for, the first direct encounter. "Commander," said Lieutenant Aaron, standing beside her, "it's waiting. I can feel it. It's not hostile. It's observing us, yes, but now it wants interaction. It's giving us a chance." Selene nodded. "Exactly. This is our opportunity, not just to survive, but to show who we are. Humanity doesn't back down. We think, we adapt, and we rise to challenges." Marek, the chief engineer, approached with a tablet displaying the vessel's energy patterns. "Commander, we've studied its pulses, its movement, its logic. We know enough to predict its path for short periods, but it's still faster than anything we have. Direct interception will require intuition, not just technology." Selene's eyes glimmered with determination. "Then we rely on human intuition. The vessel expects ingenuity. That's what makes us strong." The fleet mobilized, not to attack, but to engage strategically. Ships positioned themselves around the vessel in precise formations, anticipating its movements. Each maneuver was carefully calculated, but with flexibility built in. Computers provided data, but human officers made the final decisions. The vessel made its first move. In an instant, it vanished from one quadrant of space and reappeared near the outer fleet. Sensors screamed with information, but Selene remained calm. "Anticipate the pattern, not the location," she instructed. "Think like it thinks, predict its behavior." Lieutenant Aaron worked alongside other tactical officers, mapping the vessel's rhythm. "It's testing our response to pressure," he realized. "Every sudden appearance is a puzzle. Every disappearance is a challenge. It wants to see how we adapt." Selene leaned forward. "Then we show it. Show it humanity's strength lies not just in speed or weapons, but in creativity, observation, and courage." The vessel moved again, this time splitting its energy field into multiple projections, giving the illusion of several ships at once. The fleet hesitated, unsure which was real. Marek spoke up. "It's not duplicating itself. It's creating patterns to test coordination. If we react to all, we risk chaos, but if we respond intelligently, we can succeed." Selene made a decision. "Trust intuition, trust each other. Do not fire, observe and adapt. That is our advantage." The fleet executed the plan with precision. Humans coordinated across multiple ships, predicting movements and forming responses that computers alone could not generate. The vessel seemed to react positively, slowing its movement and pulsing in a rhythmic pattern that suggested recognition. Dr. Voss, monitoring the vessel's energy signals, gasped, "Commander, it's acknowledging us. Every correct maneuver, every coordinated action it recognizes. We're impressing it." Selene allowed herself a brief smile. Humanity had always thrived when challenged, and this was no different. Their strength lay not just in machines, weapons, or speed, but in adaptability, creativity, and collaboration. Suddenly, the vessel made a bold move. It aimed directly at a nearby colony, a population of thousands completely unprotected. Panic swept through the fleet. "Commander," an officer shouted, "it's heading straight for them." Selene's voice was calm, authoritative. "It's a test. We've prepared for this. Deploy the evacuation and protective units. Civilian safety is our priority. We cannot panic. We cannot act rashly." The fleet sprang into action. Evacuation shuttles carried civilians to safety, while defensive grids projected protective energy shields around the colony. Humans worked with precision, coordinating across ships, planets, and orbital stations. The vessel slowed as it approached the colony. Then, almost imperceptibly, it adjusted its path, stopping just short of the planet. Its pulses changed, now forming clear sequences. Dr. Voss studied them quickly. "It's asking a question," she realized. "It wants to see if we value life, if we protect the innocent under pressure. Our response has proven that we do." Selene nodded. "Then we've passed another stage. Humanity is not just clever, it's compassionate. That is what it respects." As the night continued, the vessel performed another astonishing maneuver. It projected multiple energy patterns, each representing increasingly complex puzzles, logic sequences, and geometric challenges. Fleet officers studied them carefully, but computers could not solve them alone. Selene stepped forward. "Humans solve problems differently. We think creatively beyond rigid rules. Use observation, intuition, and imagination. This is our advantage. We do what machines cannot." The fleet responded in coordinated brilliance. Humans adapted, predicted, and acted together, each step a display of ingenuity. The vessel pulsed brighter, forming a complex pattern that seemed to smile. Dr. Voss translated the sequence. "It's approval, recognition. It acknowledges our intelligence. We've passed its final test." Selene felt a surge of pride. Humanity had faced the unknown, responded with courage, and triumphed without violence. They had proven that human creativity, intuition, and cooperation were unmatched, even by the most advanced technology. Marek added, "It's leaving, it's departing, but not as a threat. It's impressed and perhaps respectful." The vessel accelerated, faster than anything the fleet could follow, and vanished into the depths of space. Silence fell across the command center. For the first time in days, Selene allowed herself to relax. Humans had faced the impossible and risen. They had not fired a single shot, but they had shown strength beyond measure. Dr. Voss spoke quietly. "Commander, it observed, it tested, and it recognized us. Humanity has proven itself worthy." Selene nodded. "Yes, and that is the true power of humans. Not weapons, not speed, but courage, creativity, and the will to adapt. That is what makes us strong. That is what will carry us forward in the galaxy." Outside, the stars seemed different. The vastness of space no longer felt empty and cold. It was filled with possibility. Humanity had proven itself, and the unknown no longer seemed threatening. Instead, it was a canvas, ready to be explored, understood, and respected. The fleet returned to the capital, greeted by cheers from civilians and officers alike. Messages of pride and admiration poured in from across the empire. Humanity had faced the unknown and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever. Selene walked the observation deck one last time before the day ended. She gazed at the stars, imagining the vessel out there somewhere, watching and perhaps smiling. Marek approached her. "Commander, do you think it will return?" Selene smiled. "Perhaps, but if it does, humanity will be ready. Not just with ships or technology, but with courage, creativity, and unity. That is our advantage. That is what makes humans remarkable." The sun rose over Urendor, casting golden light across the city and the fleet. Humanity had faced the edge of the unknown and had triumphed, not through destruction, but through brilliance, cooperation, and heart. And somewhere far beyond the stars, the mysterious vessel carried with it a new understanding. Humanity was not just another species. It was a force of ingenuity and spirit, a species capable of rising to any challenge, no matter how impossible it seemed. Selene watched the horizon, her mind filled with hope. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. "The galaxy is vast, full of mysteries, and humanity, we are ready for them all." The stars above shimmered as if in agreement. The unknown no longer inspired fear. It inspired wonder. Humanity had triumphed. Humanity had grown. And humanity's story among the stars was just beginning.